In June 1941, Hitler tore up his pact with Stalin, Russia's very own moment of appeasement, and the Nazis began Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of Russia.
Operation Barbarossa is still the largest military operation in human history. The Nazi invasion became the site of some of the largest battles, the deadliest atrocities, the highest casualties, and the most horrific conditions for Russians and Germans alike. It was a massive gamble by Hitler, but at that moment there was no Western Front, and Britain was in no condition to create one. The United States had still not entered the war, and at first, the Nazi invasion of Russia swept all before it. Nazi forces drove thousands of miles into Russia, surrounding and capturing city after city. It was clear that Hitler could only be defeated if the United States declared war. Initially, the United States elite were skeptical that Britain could survive. Joseph Kennedy, father of the future president, had been United States ambassador in London. When he returned to report to President Franklin D. Roosevelt at the outbreak of the war, he said that Britain was likely to be defeated. Roosevelt, encouraged by the outcome of the Battle of Britain, was more hopeful.
Even a neutral cannot be asked to close his mind or to close his conscience.
But he still kept the US out of the war. Only the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii in December 1941 changed all that.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. As Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense, but always will our whole nation remember the character of the onslaught against us.
The attack was a tactical military triumph for Japan. The Japanese suffered just 65 servicemen killed or wounded, and they lost 5 midget submarines and 29 aircraft. The US lost 4 battleships, 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, 1 mine layer, and 188 aircraft. Some 2,402 US personnel were killed, and another 1,282 were injured. Nevertheless, the attack was a strategic and political disaster for the Axis powers. As the surprise attack on the US fleet took place, Hitler also declared war on the United States, even though no treaty required him to do so. The US was now engaged in the Pacific and European theatres of the Second World War. It was to be the tipping point of the conflict.